All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a book that, let's be honest, became a total phenomenon. Richard Osman's The Thursday Murder Club. This thing just took the world by storm. So the big question is, how? How did it pull that off? This one line from Joyce's diary, it just nails the charm of the whole book. But really, how does this story take a pretty standard murder mystery and make it so captivating? The secret sauce, it turns out, is all about who's doing the solving. Okay, so let's get right into it. Our story doesn't kick off with a crime scene. Nope. It starts in the jigsaw room of a high-end retirement village called Cooper's Chase. And it's here that a former nurse, Joyce, is having some shepherd's pie when a new friend casually asks her, how long would it take someone to bleed to death from a few very specific stab wounds? Talk about an icebreaker, right? And that question was basically Joyce's initiation into the Thursday Murder Club. So here's our crew, 4 friends, all in their 70s and 80s. I mean, they're not your typical detectives. They get together every single week just for fun, to pore over old police files and try to crack unsolved murders. So yeah, their hobby is literally studying murder. They're spreading out old, grim autopsy photos on the same table that's usually covered with like a 2,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. But all that theory is about to become very, very real. They're about to get a live case dropped right on their doorstep. And just like that, the theoretical becomes terrifyingly real. The club's super quiet, perfect little village, a place where, the biggest drama is usually about the complicated recycling bins, is suddenly rocked by not one, but 2 murders. And these murders happen fast. I mean, back to back. First, you've got this local builder, Tony Curran, a guy with a shady past, who gets bludgeoned to death in his own kitchen. Then, the very next morning, the flashy developer of Cooper's Chase itself, Ian Ventham, is killed with a fatal injection right in the middle of a protest. So these events obviously link the victims, and suddenly the whole retirement village is ground zero for a massive police investigation. So you've got 2 bodies in less than 24 hours. There's just no way the club can sit this one out. This is it. This is the moment their little hobby turns into a full-blown obsession. And this, right here, is where the book's genius really starts to shine. It's all about the clash between 2 totally different ways of investigating a crime. So you can see the contrast right here. On one side, you have the official police, led by DCI Chris Hudson, and they are doing everything by the book. But the club? Oh, they're writing their own rule book. Their methods aren't really about procedure. They're about people. I mean, they use a whole range of tactics that are completely off limits to the actual police. You've got Elizabeth, the mastermind, who schemes to get a young, friendly cop assigned to the case, just so they have a source on the inside. They use charm, they use wit, and of course, they use Joyce's famous lemon drizzle cake to get people talking. It gives them this totally unique and incredibly powerful advantage. So, as both the police and our club start digging, they find clues that point to something else, something that happened a long, long time ago. The police are laser-focused on the here and now, but the club, they've got a hunch there's a much deeper story buried here. And this is where the book pulls its cleverest trick on you. You think you're following one mystery, right? Wrong. You're actually following 3. This isn't some straight line from A to B. It's a tangled, messy web. That's right, 3. The whole book is built around these 3 totally separate but somehow deeply connected mysteries. And they stretch back over 50 years. Okay, so you've got the murder of the builder, Tony Curran. Check. Then the murder of the developer, Ian Ventham. Check. And then, get this, while they're protesting moving an old cemetery on the property, a coffin breaks open and it turns out there's a second skeleton in there, a much newer one, buried right on top of an old nun. So now you've got 3 cases, each with its own killer, its own motive, and all these threads start weaving together in a way that just keeps you guessing right up to the very last page. So, the big question is, how on earth does this little group of pensioners manage to untangle this whole mess when it's got the professionals totally stumped? What's their secret weapon? Well, here it is, from Joyce herself. This is the secret to all of their success. The way society just tends to dismiss older people, to see them as harmless or maybe even invisible, that becomes their greatest weapon. They are constantly underestimated. You say their age isn't a weakness at all. It's a superpower. Seriously. It gives them access, it gives them insight, and it gives them the freedom to do things the police just can't. They can bend the rules, tell a few white lies, and charm their way into places where an official police badge would just slam the door shut. All right, so what's the big takeaway here? What is it about this story that makes it so compelling, so successful? Let's break down the formula. It really comes down to this perfectly balanced formula. You've got the tone, right? It's this cozy, funny retirement village with arguments about Zumba classes, and then you slam these dark, complex crimes right in the middle of it. It's a fantastic contrast. The characters, they just refuse to be stereotypes. They're sharp, they're hilarious, and they are not defined by their age. In the plot, it's just this masterfully built puzzle. And that, I think, is why the book connects with so many people. Sure, the murders are the engine that drives the plot forward, but the real heart of the story? It's the characters. It's their friendship, their loyalty, and their absolute refusal to be invisible in a world that's all too ready to overlook them. And that's really the thought the book leaves you with, isn't it? It's this powerful reminder that a whole lifetime of experience is an incredible tool, and that sometimes the most amazing stories belong to the people you'd least expect.